broadcasting legend in his own mind. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle. As you know, I don't know if my neighbor is unplugging the Wi-Fi or what, man. I'm having a little problem hijacking it. I might have to run a cable across the street or something to get that worked out. And
I can just see Coach on a new episode of Action News Delaware.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, I don't know if you guys ever saw that Christmas movie with Matthew Broderick and Danny DeVito. He wants to get his house lit up for Christmas so much so you can see it from space. And the whole time he's using Matthew Broderick's electric. It was all going across the street to Matthew Broderick's electric. I thought that was great. So that's Coach. Vicky, what's going on? Hopefully all's going well, Vicky.
Good things for Vicky. Yeah.
Good.
all
That's
right,
good to
awesome.
hear.
That's awesome. Good thing,
Yeah.
man.
What's up, Angela?
What's up? Can't type and talk at the same time, but I wanted to talk. Big baseball game yesterday. That was played. I want to get into some OBJ stuff. Obviously, he's making news again.
Mm-hmm.
Being an idiot.
Some NFL trade talk too out
And
there.
a lot of buzz about the trade because the deadline's coming up here. I think is it Monday or Tuesday is the trade deadline?
I'm not sure. I'll look it up, but it's soon. Obviously,
It's close, yeah.
Yep, and we're getting there, and some big names getting floated out. So we'll get into that. But let's get into some baseball first because I thought Kershaw finally pitched to form in a postseason game. I mean, I can't remember the last time he pitched was that dominant in the postseason.
He did pitch good against the Brewers in the first round, but it's the Brewers, so I think he looked good in actually one of the games. Well, he didn't pitch in the LCS, but he did look good. Yeah, I guess it would have been the Brewers game then too. But no, I mean, it's a positive. And the one thing that was good, I thought too, because we all talked about Bellinger, and boy did he dispel that pretty quick by hitting that home run last night. The 2-run homer was what kind of got things started for the Dodgers. Big hit. And what's crazy too, the Dodgers got 8 runs. They left 9 or 10 men on base. The Rays had 3 runs. They only left 3 men on base. So, I had mentioned it yesterday. Dodgers, they ran up Glasnow pretty quick. I think he was at 80, 90 pitches after 4 innings. Too many walks, though. I mean, but they are patient hitters, which, some guys you can get guys a chase. I mean, he was throwing heat, but, they got to him with 6 runs and I believe 4 1/3, something like that. But, everybody's it feels like everybody's already crowning the Dodgers a little bit. Let's not forget, the Rays lost game 1 to the Yankees. So, still a lot more series. I mean, it's a good sign. Kershaw pitched good. Let's see that Buehler-Morton matchup. And, look, they got Snell tonight, who is a lefty. And if you look at the Dodgers, Bellinger's a lefty, Betts is a lefty, Seager's a lefty, Peterson's a lefty. So let's see what Snell does tonight.
Hitter? He's a lefty? I thought he was a switch hitter.
Who?
I could be wrong. Betts. Betts.
Oh, he might be. You could be correct. You might be right, Coach. I didn't know that. But, yeah.
I might be off. I don't.
Yeah. I did hit on the 2 prop bets I gave last night. I said over 1.5 bases for Betts and for Seager. So I got off that Sunday schneid. So, just got to get a counter.
Taco at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing about the game last night. The heck with the score.
Yeah.
The heck with who won. Free tacos for Captain Jack. And you know what? I like you guys so much. You guys can get one too.
Thank you, Captain. So what did you think of the game, Captain?
Well, I tell you, I like the way that I almost said Verlander. Not Syndergaard. What's his name again, Nick?
Kershaw. Oh, Glasnow.
Glasnow,
right.
yeah. I like the way that Glasnow was pitching, but again, because that they were actually juicing him for all those extra pitches, like you were saying, he had lost what he had going by the end of the third, the fourth, when he started to really peter out. Again, he was pitching well, as was Kershaw, And once Glasnow lost it, though, it went south real quick. And it was like 1 run, then 3-1, then 4-run, and bam, 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 and of course Glasnow's out. Kershaw played well. In fact, the one thing that people need to remember is that people are always getting on Kershaw for being a bad pitcher historically in the postseason. But yesterday was his 4th win with at least, I want to say, 5 1/3 or 5 2/3 or 6 innings of ball. And it's his 4th win throwing shutouts for that long. So again, he tied Verlander, and there was another pitcher that he tied as well. So he's tied with those guys in that category. Now, granted, his ERA was doubled in the postseason over the long haul, but his ERA this year is a lot closer to the ERA that he has in the regular season per the stats that they showed up on the screen.
Right, and if you look at it, he really, I mean, a lot of pitches and misses last night. He was throwing good. His slider was on. He got through that first inning. I was a little leery in that first inning. He gets a walk, and you have a man on first and second, and you're thinking, oh, no. Because if they blow it up and get 2 or 3 runs, you're worried. I mean, look, basically last night, all he did was give up that solo home run. And, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So he pitched well. It's a positive sign. And, look, if you're the Dodgers, you got to feel good. You're saying to yourself, all right, we're up 1-0. We got Kershaw going once more. We got Buehler going twice more. Although I do believe they're obviously, because in Game 3, that's who they're throwing against, Morton against them. I'm sure they'll do the same in the following game. Buehler pitches will probably be Morton against them again. Can Morton keep this postseason magic up? Because he wasn't as great during the regular season. I think he had like a 4.75 ERA during the regular season. Now, I do realize they only played 60 games, but still, he just seems to, one of those guys that when the postseason comes can just find that extra level. So we'll see if Morton, can bring it again. Look, the Astros have a decent lineup, but man, this Dodgers lineup is really special.
Rays. Remember, no asterisks. No asterisks. you called them the Astros. I thought.
No, I was saying because he played the Astros before when he was pitching against the Astros. That lineup's good, but this Dodgers lineup is a whole nother level. That's what I was saying, Kevin.
Yes. Yeah. I apologize. I misconstrued.
You're good.
I thought that they said that Gonsolin was pitching tonight.
He is.
Okay.
And he pitched in Game 7. Now, I think it was like an inning or two, because if you remember, they started off with Carrot Top, Dustin May, and because Gonsolin was supposed to be the starter, and then Dave Roberts switched it to May the day of the start. I criticized that either yesterday or the day before. And then, obviously, I think Gonsolin only pitched 2 innings. So, yeah, I think he's going tonight, and then I would guess the kid who ended Game 7, Urias, would be Game 4, but that's what's good about these off days, because there will be an off day tomorrow. They can, flex those pitchers a little bit. So, but still, it's another big game. You don't want to, if you're the Dodgers, to me, you want to get a stranglehold tonight and get that 2-0 lead and force them where they need to take 4 and 5, because, you lose, you got your guy pitching Game 3 to take that 2-1 lead, So, and it's not over at 2-1 if they lose, but still, as you know, it's momentum swings, you know? And that's why I think a lot of people thought the Rays were in trouble with the Astros. But, look, they had their guy going, and Morton came through, pitched, I think it was 5 1/3 or 5 2/3 shutout innings against the Astros.
Yeah, and I definitely like the fact that they're saving Morton for 3. Snell, like I said, after that Cy Young Award winning season has just not shown the grit that he's had. He's been a little bit off this year, and I believe he's pitching tonight, right? Gonsolin versus Snell.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. I'll tell you what, the way the Dodgers are rolling, I will take the. I'm sorry to kind of blow it real quick on saying it right now, but I'll take the Dodgers against Snell right now, just based upon that. And what
JD just said that Kazmir's pitching.
Whoa. Is he even on the team anymore?
I was going to say, no, the last time I saw Kazmir was playing for the Angels, and I don't think I know for a fact that Scott Kazmir is not pitching for the Rays. He's just pulling your leg.
Okay. Jason Dean trying to cross us up here, man.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's all good. All good. Yeah, because now he's got me on my phone looking it up. Don't scare me like that, Jason Dean. You're talking to a degenerate gambler, man. And then I get worried. Yeah, it's Blake's now. Come on, Jason Dean. That was just mean. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I like. Look, if Gosling can hold him tonight, and even if I'll say this, if he can just give him 5 or 6 innings to keep him to 2 or 3 runs, I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I agree with Captain. Look, the Dodgers. Look, they've won 4 straight. A lot of momentum going. You want to keep that rolling, and like I said, you don't want to lose tonight, and then you got a day off tomorrow, and then Friday night you're going against Morton. I know. Look, they do have Buehler going, who obviously was lights out for them last game, and went toe to toe with probably the Cy Young winner in the National League in Fried from the Braves. But yeah, I would just want to, like I said, if I'm the Dodgers, I want to get a stranglehold on this series.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to have Buehler. Don't call me Ferris on the mound, on the mound for because I tell you what, if you pitch Buehler in 3, you got him for 7. You got the guy who pitched last night.
Glasnow.
No, Kershaw. You got Kershaw for like 4. So yeah, that'll work out. You'd have it for 3 and 7, and then 4. You like 1, 4, and then you can even possibly have Kershaw throw just in case you needed him in 7, kind of like what they did with Randy Johnson and the other guy with the Arizona. You have Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. There you go. I knew I'd get it. You'd be able to have that 1-2 punch there. I just like the way with those days off, and we discussed this, the days off are the reasons why I went with the Dodgers, over this long haul.
Yeah, now right now, now this could be wrong, but CBS Sports has Urias versus Yarborough Game 4, and then Game 5 will be a repeat of the Game 1 starters, Kershaw and Glasnow. So I don't know what games, like you had said, though, that would line up if it goes 7, it being Buehler versus Morton. And look, if I'm the Dodgers, you don't want to get to that. When you got a guy like Morton who in game clinching games, I think it was 0.45 or somewhere in that nature going into the last game, and he put 5 1/3 and 0 runs on that. So look, I'd want to end this in 5 or 6. If I'm the Dodgers.
Yeah, and for folks that live here in Tampa, it just screams that Tampa needs at least one more arm, a quality arm to go into this rotation. Cash has been using the opener. It was a good novelty item last year. It took a lot of people by surprise whether they would say, oh, that's a good idea, especially when you don't have that quality arm. They just need to go out and get one. They need to spend the money and get a quality arm.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Snell, obviously former Cy Young winner, and Morton's good too. But I think you're going to see, look, we said it this year, a lot of people started kind of copycatting the Rays a little bit, and I think you're really going to see it after this year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you're going to get more teams going in with that. I think your end of the rotation guy is going to be a non-factor anymore because they're just going to go with that.
Well, and financially too, it's going to become, all right, let's get two, maybe 3 good, solid frontline guys, and then a great bullpen, And
I get that, but the thing is that Morton is gone. This is definitely a swan song. So you got Glasnow and Snell, and then who else?
I agree. And you count on Glasnow. I agree with you, Captain.
I think Glasnow is a good, solid kid. I think Snell is a good, solid kid. They're 1 or 1A, and it's up to who you want to say is 1 or 1A. It just depends on what's going on with them. But they still need that arm, and they still need that arm. You can still go with the opener that they've been doing, but they're going to need Morton is going to be hard to replace down here in Tampa.
Yeah, and look, I think they could use another bat too. I mean, like I said, you're seeing a lot of it. I mean, they stole a Razorino. I think was it from the Cardinals? It was from somebody. I mean, he's just been a stud for them. And Margot, you're talking about a guy who had 1 home run in the regular season, has 5 home runs already this postseason in a few weeks. So, Yeah,
And obviously the blown shoulder of Bellinger, not an issue.
no. I mean, to me,
he steals a home run last night in addition to that long park job that he did. So
right.
good for him. Yeah. What was the old expression? The news of my demise is
Greatly exaggerated.
There you go.
Yep. No, and look, he did kind of poke fun at when he was rounding the bases with the shoulder, like saying, don't touch the shoulder. But, to me, last night, obviously his hit's the biggest hit because it's 0-0. They give up one run. He hits the 2-run homer, and that's what got the ball rolling. It really did. So, yeah, that's what kind of got it started. We'll see what happens tonight. But, Betts had been kind of not that he was playing bad, but he's had better postseasons. He has a big game last night. Seager's been hot. Now you get Bellinger back-to-back home runs, Game 7, Game 1. That's not what you want to see if you're Tampa Bay, and these hitters start really getting going because that lineup is just dangerous up and down. And we haven't even talked about Turner yet. I was
going to say Turner and Muncy have been relatively quiet for the last week or so, if not longer. So you get Turner going, you get Muncy going. It can get brutal real quick.
Right, and Turner, I'll never understand how he does it with that leg. He raises that leg in the air, and I don't know, Coach, if you know where Justin Turner, when he swings, he raises the leg in the air, and it's just like crazy. I don't understand how he does that. A lot of
guys did that back in the 80s. That was a big thing back then. A lot of guys did that.
Yeah, but that is, again, showing my age, Mel Ott. That was a typical Mel Ott, raise the leg and then go and plant. Obviously planting off your opposite foot, but drive with that one that you're using up in the air.
Yeah. And real quick, shout out 40-year anniversary today of the 1980 Philadelphia Phillies. I wasn't born yet, but still, today is the day. Good old Tugger, won the World Series, and that Phillies team that, like I said, I wasn't born, but still. God, what was it, like almost 100 years? They hadn't won it in how many years? And then that was their first World Series, and they were knocking on the door. They get Pete Rose, and let's not forget, too, Bob Boone drops that easy pop-up, and boom, Pete jumps and gets it, and that was just, and Captain touched on it last night with him and Angela. Look, whatever you think of Pete Rose, I still think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. There's much worse guys than him. Yep. Kind of like Chase Utley was my era. If a father and son at the game, you say, son, that's how you play baseball. For you guys, even me, growing up, fathers would say, watch how Pete Rose plays. That's how you play baseball.
Huckle, man. Charlie Huckle.
Yeah, you should have told me. I would have worn my 45 Tug McGraw jersey today.
I didn't know you had a tug on it. I saw it on Facebook. Obviously, I did not know today was the 40-year anniversary, but it's a good day in Philadelphia, baby. Because I can't believe it's 40 years, man. It just shows you how quick things happen. It's pretty crazy. Now, Coach,
it could be 40 years because that would make me old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now.
Before we go to football, can I bring up one basketball thing, Coach?
Go ahead.
Stan Van Gundy got hired today. I don't get it. I don't get it either.
How long has he been out of the league? What, 5, 6, 7 years?
It's been a while, and what's bad too, I want to say he was coaching in Orlando, and I think he got some kind of issues with his the team, and last year was 2012. So you're talking about a guy who hasn't coached
8 years.
8 years, and his last trip, obviously, with Orlando ended very bad. There was a lot of something happened with him and Dwight Howard. So, and you don't want that where coaches aren't getting along with their players. And look, this is a huge, huge hiring for the Pelicans because you're starting the Zion era now. And now, too, you're going to take the chains off a little bit, because obviously with the injury, they were kind of, spoon-feed them a little bit, not giving them, having them on minutes restrictions and all. And look, I think with the Sixers, they kind of hurt the development by not having the proper coach. With
Right.
Brett Brown, and we've had some years wasted now. I don't think they would have won a championship, but I also think they've underperformed. I think that was a team that could have maybe made a finals run, or at the bare minimum, they should have made a conference finals run. They're that kind of talent, the Sixers. So little surprise about Stan Van Gundy.
Actually,
Yeah,
I'm going to say in Orlando, because again, that's only about 90 minutes up the street here. If I remember correctly, and maybe I'm not, but it was not only was it a Van Gundy issue, but the whole organization with the GM, whose name escapes me. I know it's like Pat something was the GM at the time. So it was all dysfunctional between the GM and the players and Van Gundy. And there was a lot of he said, she said that people would like go around to the other person because they didn't want to talk to Van Gundy. And it ended up, like you said, it was very bad, very dysfunctional, and it made Van Gundy look horrible. Granted, he was a lot of the problem, but there was more to it than people remember.
Yeah. And like I said, Dwight Howard wanted him fired. And that was a big thing they were asking, and he didn't want to go out and say it, which I understand, but it was it was bad. And he actually coached the Pistons, it looks like, after that. So I forgot about that. That shows you. But yeah, don't understand the hire. Think there's, I'll give you one. I think it was Indiana hired an assistant from Toronto, and I'd see something like that. Nick Nurse, one of the great coaches in the NBA. A lot of people thought as Kawhi left this year, Toronto was going to really fall off the cliff, and they didn't. They were still a very good team. So I love Nick Nurse. So you get somebody out of that system, which a lot of NFL teams like to do. You see a McVay or one of these guys come up, and you like to get one of the guys, under them. So, that might be a good hire. I just don't understand Stan Van Gundy. And I think the league's different now. It's more opened up. It's not that defensive style 90s league that Jeff and Stan Van Gundy are used to.
Right, where you need the big man down underneath, and that unless that big man can shoot from the outside, he's worthless pretty much. So
exactly. I just wanted to bring that up, Coach, before we got into
football. Absolutely. And then and before we get into football, because there's a lot to cover in there, OBJ, he's just a gift that keeps on giving. Don't care that everybody's saying that the Browns got the best of that trade. I don't think so. Him being out of the organization is the only reason why Dave Gettleman has his job. Honestly, with that, because it is just just terrible what he's doing. And here you go. You ruined a possible career for 8 guys. LSU lost 8 scholarships because of his shenanigans and him just being an a-hole.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Oh, he doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
At all, because it's all about OBJ.
And that's what I was going to say, Captain. One word: selfish.
Yeah.
Selfish. I mean, if you care about your alma mater, we all know. Come on, you can't be that stupid. We talk about this off air. You know how many cameras are on you. To just be that arrogant to think you can hand some kid $2,000 with all those cameras and nobody's going to say anything. Joe Burrow. Let's not forget that too. And it took away from the national championship a little bit.
Yes.
Joe Burrow, the season he had, Ed Ogeron, the season, a guy who's been criticized a lot in his career, was with Ole Miss, I believe, and then was with USC.
Yeah.
Got a lot of criticism. He deserved the limelight. So did Joe Burrow. So did that team. A historic type year. And they got to answer dumb questions because of his actions. And this is the professional.
Right.
This is the guy who's in the league. He's supposed to be the professional that's mentoring these kids. And he's doing those kinds of things. And it's just, to me, it shows you who OBJ is. I was watching a show today, and they were saying the most, in the Bronx Tale, I know Stiz will know that, one of the big quotes is nothing worse than wasted talent, and that he is the waste, and not because of him, saying that all the teams that have had him have wasted his talent, because the Giants had Eli. But let me ask you this. If he's wasted talent, why did Baker Mayfield have a good rookie year, then you bring him in, and the season gets worse? Why does that happen? And don't blame it all on Freddie Kitchens. That's a cop out.
Yeah.
It's OBJ and OBJ's attitude, and that's always been the problem. And he's always been a distraction and always been doing these off the field type things that aren't team first, it's me first, and that's always been the problem with him.
Yeah, and actually I said the best receiver on that team that's from LSU is on the other side in Jarvis Landry. I mean, the kid makes play after play. He's a gamer. He's got the best attitude. That's the guy you want on your team. You don't want the prima donna over there that's screwing things up for everybody else.
Right. Another guy who Adam Gase had on his team and couldn't win with. Because Landry was on the Dolphins.
That's right. He was on the Dolphins, and Adam Gase shipped him out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just, like I said, that
wait a second. I don't know if Adam Gase shipped him out. He may have got
No, he didn't ship him out. I think it was the next regime, but he did coach him for a period.
He did.
Positive of that. Yeah. So another thing to keep before we get into the trades too, a lot of talk about captain's not captain's friend. We won't say that, but that teams are interested in AB. Supposedly the Seahawks. That's one I don't get. The Seahawks. If I'm the Seahawks, you need defense. You got Tyler Lockett and you got DK Metcalf. Why would you introduce AB to that team? Yeah, don't get me wrong, they'd be so explosive, but you already got a good receiving core. To me, what Seattle needs is a pass rusher that they had in Clowney or somebody like that to add to that team. Why are you bringing AB? I don't look, if you have a veteran locker room that's not going to put up with his BS, like a Ravens or somebody like that you feel comfortable if he comes in and acts up, you can just dismiss him, or though it's going to be handled within that locker room, maybe. But I just don't understand why it's being entertained. I can see you want to say something, Captain. Go ahead.
I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, 84, because I won't go into his initials. Right. I believe 84 was with the Seahawks as far as getting a tryout last year. So this is not. It's just a continuation of the fact that said, well, we got what we got, but maybe we just need that little extra something. I agree totally, though. If you're the Seahawks, I think with DK Metcalf and Lockett, you have more than enough. You have more than enough offense on the outsides, okay? Yeah. Why bring somebody that is going to be a distraction, a headache, a royal hemorrhoid to your team, okay? You don't got enough preparation H in the world to cover that hemorrhoid. And you need defense on that team.
Oh, 100%. And look, they got a great offense. I mean, they're 5-0. I wonder if this is a little bit of the agent working his magic, trying to leak out there that there's teams interested and that one of them is Seattle to maybe force one of those other teams, because Seattle just doesn't make any sense to me. Are the Eagles desperate enough because of their injury situation to go out and get an AB? I don't think so.
But I mean, as far as having a team that actually needs
him, right? I don't think the Seahawks need him,
right? Yeah, and remember,
you stole my thunder, Nick.
Yeah, sorry.
He has an 8-game suspension upcoming for whoever signs him. 8 games.
No, Captain, it's already in effect. He's going to be available to play after week 8. So they started his. He will be available.
He's got to be signed with a team before.
No, they put it in effect. I'm reading it on ESPN right now, Coach. He's available after week 8. So I think he finally said,
you saw it on a channel, and not give props to other places.
Oh, sorry, I saw it on a channel. Sorry, Coach. I apologize. But I mean, there's only 2 out there anyway. I mean, okay. I said another one earlier, and you didn't scold me. Damn, Coach, always.
I didn't hear that one. I must have flipped that one.
No, so a reputable source. Yeah, it says.
I don't even know about that. Reputable is okay. A sports network.
Yeah, with Antonio Brown's suspension eligible to end after week 8, the Seahawks are now positioned to make a push to sign him. So
but still, remember,
when did they change that rule?
Right. First reports are often wrong. I'm in the military. I understand that stuff, okay? Just because it's saying it, I find that very hard to believe because remember, Coach and I think even you were saying, well, then all he has to do is sit out. And he said, no. Somebody has to sign him, and then the clock starts kicking. If that is true, then something has changed between the preseason of COVID and what's going on now.
Well, I think he went to the league and said he wanted to get the suspension rolling. I mean, I think that it's the lead story on the site. You guys can both look at it. So
I got you, but
But I mean, I don't think, and it's one of the. I mean, the lead NFL reporter in football. I mean, we all know who I'm talking about.
Right.
Good old Adam. I mean, so I would be surprised if it's not right. Captain, did you hear about what happened with your team?
Yes, I did, and I was waiting for the time on that. I would never want to supplant you two.
Yeah. So go ahead. Yeah.
Like that.
But go ahead with that. Yeah.
Reports out of and I almost said Oakland, so I need to get my stuff squared away as well. Reports out of Las Vegas is that Trent Brown, the offensive right tackle who we just got back from injury, has been placed on the COVID report. Okay, that's big bomb number one. What the other little incendiary devices that are going off with it as well is that the entire starting offensive line has been sent home. So it's not just Trent Brown. Right. It's Gabe Jackson, Hudson, Miller at left tackle, and it's either going to be Good or because I don't think Incognito was back to that starting spot, but Good was playing left guard. The entire starting offensive line for the Raiders has been sent home, along with Jonathan Abram because of the tracing on this, who is the starting safety.
And that's what I was going to say. It had to be exposure to Trent Brown, would be my guess. Yeah.
And my question is, and again, not that I would never, not being a non-conspiracy theorist, would never say anything like this, but citing people from that I listen to and get on my feed and whatnot, they're saying, well, why haven't they postponed the game? They did it for other teams, and you guys know some of those other teams that they immediately did it when a certain quarterback gets it. Oh, we got to stop the game, and we're going to postpone it and all this other stuff. Why hasn't the NFL said a word yet?
Because they got to wait, Captain. Because
and the test. Other teams have had
positive, and you got to see. I mean, obviously, if all those guys test positive, then
it'll be canceled.
Postpone the game. Yeah. But they have to wait 36 hours.
Right. Plus, Nick Saban, let's not forget, too, he came out today and said about, it's been now figured out he had a false positive. Right. And he said, let's learn this, take this as a lesson. I think basically that retest, make, confirm that this person has COVID before you make them miss 3 days of practice and go through all. Right. I mean, obviously, if you test right away, remove him from the situation. But test again and confirm your findings because, Nick Saban missed 3 days of practice in a 2-3 type matchup, which could have been, hurtful to his team. It wasn't, but still, as we all know, your team's better with Nick Saban there than without Nick Saban.
Absolutely.
You had it. But I mean, I thought Captain was going to say it's rumored that Roger Goodell was seen leaving the facility or something. He's the one who planted the COVID.
Captain,
sir.
Also, you had a former player pass away.
Yes,
yeah.
and that
young
was
guy too.
And that actually a gentleman who I know personally, Mario Henderson, is a local product here. And when I was working at the sports store, and I saw him come into the store, you can't not mistake a dude that's that big that towers in your store. And I looked at him and I said, "You look very familiar to me, sir." And he looked at my hat and he kind of smiled. As soon as he saw the Raider hat and he smiled, I knew exactly who it was. And I said, "Mario, great seeing you there, sir." And of course, I didn't mention I was a Gator because he was a Knoll and I wasn't going to piss him off in any of those things as well. But 35 years old. No word as to what the cause is, but again, with big dudes like me, hey, I had my fatty liver thing that I was talking about as well. Big guys have big problems in the ticker, in the heart, and on the insides. I'd like to see what happened. Hopefully, it's nothing beyond nefarious, or not. It'll be non-nefarious type things, or something that is just a he died of a big heart or something like that. But blessings to Mario. Very, very nice gentleman. Very nice gentleman.
Yeah, sad years. I think it said he was 35 too.
35 years
left
old.
tackle. Yeah, that's a shame. And Captain, real quick too, one thing that hasn't been dealt with yet too with any of these teams, let's not forget, Vegas is coming off a bye. So if they have to cancel, there's no shuffling around now. You need to figure out, and this is a team that's in the playoff hunt. So the NFL will have a problem if they can't play Sunday. So I think that factors in a little bit too, because obviously the other teams all had buys. You could switch around and they could jostle. Raiders don't have that this week. So going to be interesting to see. Now, Captain, do you know, because it doesn't say, was it just symptoms or did he test positive, or we don't know yet?
I don't recall reading anything into the symptoms. It's just that he was put into COVID protocol.
Okay.
That was an immediate thing. I don't think that they said anything about symptoms, asymptomatic or showing symptoms at all.
No, but I'm saying, was it he just had symptoms of COVID, or did he test positive for COVID?
I don't
think
recall.
It just popped up and said test positive.
Right.
Okay. Because I know the lineman, they said as long as they test negative, they can re-enter the building tomorrow.
Right.
For the other players that got sent home.
Yeah. But again, it's with that contact tracing. I don't believe he was showing any symptoms. It was just you popped and you got to go home immediately. And then of course, you 4, you're gone too.
Yeah. But obviously big news, and it's the stuff you hate to hear, because obviously really big, exciting Sunday night game. I mean, and for the Raiders, I mean, look, man, this might be the most exciting game in years. I know they did make the playoffs, but obviously Derek Carr had been hurt, and I think the Raiders knew when Derek Carr went down, their playoff chances went out the window with him. So I mean, look, this is a huge game. It's against Brady, obviously.
So he was tracked around someone who had it.
Oh, okay. So maybe he doesn't. So maybe let's hope he doesn't have it, because like I said, I always want to see teams at their full potential. And look, man, I think Sunday night is going to be a really good game, and it's going to be Gruden and that mind against that very good Bucs defense, and then obviously, Bruce Arians going against that Raiders defense that looked like maybe in the second half of the Chiefs they're starting to piece it together. So was going to be hopefully. Because I was looking forward to that game, and obviously it's a Sunday night game. I was one of the games, obviously that's a big game on Sunday.
Yeah, but here's the other thing: they've already had a Tuesday game, correct?
The Raiders?
No, the NFL.
Yeah.
Okay, so the precedent has already been set that if they need to, you move the game to Monday, because they've already moved several games to the Monday. They pushed the Sunday game to Monday. Or even to Tuesday, because they had I think the Titans played just this past Tuesday or maybe it was another. But I know they've had a Tuesday game because they kept pushing. They needed to push because they used that 4-day thing, like they have a Sunday, Thursday thing. We've done it with 4 games. It'll be a hardship, but there you go. And maybe if they do that, and again, I'm just purely conjecture, what they might end up doing is if they do move the Raiders to like Tuesday, then the Thursday night game that they had later on in the season might be moved to Sunday.
Right. Well, and the one thing, too, if they do have to move it to Tuesday, Buccaneers have a game the following Monday. So that helps that it's not, it's not a Tuesday to Sunday for them. And the Raiders are coming off a bye. Now, they would still need to play, obviously, the following Sunday. And that's a tough thing to do. But, at least they are coming off a bye. So that does help a little bit. And obviously, the Raiders are on the road to Cleveland the following week.
Right. And now the news out of Dallas, man, grumblings already.
And I hate it, too.
I mean,
I hate anonymous sources. And I hate because, it's always when they're losing. You know what I mean? Where was this when in the beginning of the season? Why didn't you see it then?
Right.
Or after loss number 1 or 2? Say, there's problems here. And the one thing I don't like is everybody's saying it's not McCarthy, it's the defense. And he hired Nolan. And look, Nolan wasn't doing good with the Packers. And that was always the problem with A-Rod when he was losing with McCarthy. They weren't running the ball, and the defense stunk. And guess who the defensive coordinator was? Mike Nolan. So maybe, yeah, I mean,
the lines.
Right. And it's like, you know what, it was McCarthy's decision to hire him. So he's the head guy. Like, and look, I don't think McCarthy's going to survive this. I really don't. I think Jerry's going to end up moving on and realizing quick, I made a mistake. And because look, we spoke on it last night. The Cowboys are in salary cap hell. You got Dak Prescott with the injury he just had. Do we, give him the franchise tag?
How else do you do that? Because
that's fine, but that eats up $35 million of your salary cap. And look, it's good. Goes up even more for him. And then so it eats up a big chunk of your salary cap. And then if not, like I said, what kind of deal does he get? I mean, it's there because he's going to play. I mean, it's only 4 to 6 months. I think they said he's going to be ready in May. So, but it's another huge decision. Like we said. They already gave Amari Cooper, who is one of the most inconsistent $100 million receivers you could get. You're going to get – it's true. One game he'll be great, and the next game he's nowhere.
No. It's worse than that. He's good for 1, and he disappears for 2, which is a great deal if you can get it. $80 million for play 1, miss 2. Right. And I'll take a contract like that.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, like I said, $90 million to Zeke, and then whatever Dak's going to get. I mean, that's a lot of money tied up. And then you got, like I said, Tyron Smith, who knows what he has. And then you got Lyle Collins, who's still kind of young. But Dallas is in a whole lot of trouble.
Yep. And it's always fun to watch Dallas be in a whole lot of trouble.
Oh, I love it.
You stole it from me, Coach. I'm like, ooh, and I'm so upset about it, too.
But I really think you're going to see there's going to be a lot of movement, I think, on this coming up. We're right up against the trade deadline. I think it's Monday or Tuesday coming up. I think you're going to see some movement. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised, Matty Ice in Atlanta and Julio Jones both get jettisoned from there.
Yeah.
The only thing that holds that up again is they don't have a general manager.
Right. Well, to me, it's in the best interest of the Falcons. If you could grab a 1, maybe even a 2 for either of those guys, dump the salary. Because like I had said, Captain, when you were logging on tonight, I mean, look at what the Dolphins did. Everybody thought they were nuts last year. You saw Tunsil go. You saw Minka Fitzpatrick go. But guess what they're doing? They're freeing up money, and they're getting assets. And look, Brian, I would love that. I just don't think
the Eagles are in cap hell too.
Yeah,
the Eagles are in cap hell. I don't think they're
right. I don't think they can either.
Buyers. They're going to be sellers.
They would go for AB. They would go for AB and give him a 1 year. Like here's a couple million deal probably before Julio because they are in complete cap hell. So unless they could get the Falcons maybe to take Jeffrey on to kind of offset it, that's about the only thing I could see. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Falcons are going to want straight draft picks for those kinds of players. But if I'm the Falcons, I do it because you look at them, this isn't going to be a 1 year turnaround. And by the time they're good again, I don't think Matt Ryan or Julio Jones is relevant anymore. I hate to say that, both great players, but both over 30, both I think on the other side of their career, both can still play, but still, we're talking a few years down the line. So if you could get, compensation and free up some cap room, I'd be all about it. And I'm sure there's going to be other players like, Coach brought up Zach Ertz. I mean, I think everything's on the table right now, I think, for the Eagles, and they know it. They want to win a division this year, but they are in salary cap hell. And if they could get, somebody needs a tight end out there and the Eagles like to trade, they'll do it, I think.
Hey, good news in that remark. And again, Coach, I'm going to quantify this correctly. A major sports organization stated that they picked the Eagles to win the NFC East this year. So again, that's from a major sports market thing. I can't remember who, but they picked the Eagles to win the NFC East.
Did they cut Cox?
Who?
The Eagles. It just said they saved $5 million on Cox. How did that happen?
Maybe he restructured. He didn't get cut. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't get cut. Yeah, but they're like $50 million over the cap.
Yeah. So. How can you be a buyer when you're over the cap, Brian? Stop.
And they want to roll over any money they got to next year to save them. So they're not going to make, and not just that. Look, if the Eagles were 4-1-1 and thought they could make a run, their buyers are here. But they know, okay, maybe we can win a division. But if we do, maybe if all the stars align, we win one game, wow, and get to the second round. But they ain't going nowhere, and I think they know it. There's too many injuries, too much going on. The Eagles, I don't see them being buyers. I do think they can win the division, but that's because of the division they're in. I mean, the Cowboys are bad, the Giants are bad, the Redskins are bad.
Yeah, I could see a couple of guys on the Giants. Don't be surprised, of them doing the same. Evan Ingram obviously is not what they thought he was. I could see him getting sent. And Jabril Peppers, another guy, a safety they brought over, I think is a great guy, but they're going to have to get ready to pay him, and I don't think they're going to pay him. So I think they move on from him.
Yeah, Peppers would be a great asset for somebody that needs that really cool tweener or multiple use defensive player. Man, be a great pickup for somebody.
Now, I'd be surprised if Washington do that, because to me, if I'm Seattle, I'm getting on the horn right away, because Ryan Kerrigan can still play.
Right.
If you're a team that's a pass rusher away, Kerrigan can still ball. And to me, Seattle, because everybody's saying their defense. Let's not forget, KC's defense struggled. Seattle still has players. You got Adams in the secondary who's been hurt. Bobby Wagner can play. KJ Wright can play. There's just not a lot of depth. You get a good pass rusher on that team, and they at least can be serviceable with that offense. They don't need a defense that's going to be the Steelers, but they just need a defense that can make stops when you need them to make stops, because, like they say, let Russ cook. Russ is cooking, baby, and he's finally got the players around him and a supporting cast, and you're seeing what Russell Wilson's doing. Rumors Saints, wow. Okay, and look, if the Saints can get him.
There's another one who needs another pass rusher.
Yeah, because Davenport's been hurt and Cam Jordan a little bit. But, man, with those three guys, and I'd love it because, obviously I got money on the Saints to win it all. And, and they get Michael Thomas back this week too.
They better pick it up, though. The Saints are dangerously falling behind pending results of what happens in Tampa Bay of being an also-ran in that division. So – right. There you go. The Saints would be a good place for them because they need
Captain. They have the bye over the tiebreaker. Excuse me, because they beat the Bucs head to head, obviously, and the Bucs got a tough game against the Raiders. Chargers. The Saints this week play the Panthers. I think they're going to win that game. Look, shout out to Matt Rule. What a job he's done. I know the Panthers did just lose, but still, that was not a team anybody had a 3-3 after 6, especially if you'd have told them Christian McCaffrey was going to miss 5 of them. So shout out to Matt Rule. Coach knows him, obviously. Coach was smart enough to try to hit him up for a job, but what it turned out, Coach would be an NFL coach. So Coach can identify talent. I will give him that. But yeah, I think the Saints can get that win. But their schedule does get a little bit easier down the stretch, but they need to get healthy. They need to get Michael Thomas. I think there's some issues in that locker room.
It's not random, Angela. Sorry, Nick. It's not random. It's because they're inside. They're inside. That's why. It's a dome.
Oh, okay. Well, they were talking about playing at LSU Stadium.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they went at that got canked. They got canked. I think the mayor of Nolens said, okay, don't even entertain that stupidity. We'll have X amount of people in here, and the X amount just so happened was 3,000.
But I think Coach had mentioned it about the Eagles. I think that 3,000 includes the players and, with the players and coaches. And let's not forget, you still need everybody selling food if they're doing it. Everybody at every gate. There's a lot of workers.
It'll be about 2,000, 2,500 when you take away players, coaches, workers, and all that facility staff, so.
And Steve, you beat me because I was waiting for the proper time to drop. I said, yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yes, this and that's why he's on Sunday's podcast. Talent.
I was waiting for the proper drop, but you know what? Stiz in the comment line.
Yeah.
Boom! You got it, then, brother. I was thinking it though. I swear.
And obviously, Jason Dean. That's why he's talking about Pitt, because Pitt plays his Notre Dame. And look, Pitt has had some bad losses.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: you never know. That team does have experience. After Notre Dame's week last week, where they just squeaked one away from Louisville, any given Saturday, Jason Dean. But I do think, obviously, Notre Dame will pull it out.
It's going to be it's going to be a close one, I think. I don't, so we'll see, because we got a lot of football on Saturday. High school here in Delaware kicks off Friday night, and then of course, obviously, NFL on Sunday. So it'll be a lot going on, a lot of football to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's exciting, and we're getting into that time too. To me, this is when it really gets going. This is where you separate the cream from the crop, or whatever that expression is. But November, that's when you see the teams. That's when Belichick is always, because this is when you're starting to. You've had a certain sample size with your team. Right. You try to find your identity. What we're good at. You know what I mean? What makes us good? What's our strengths? What's our weaknesses? And you try to mold that team to find the identity of the team. As you know, we've had 6 weeks now. So, like I said, we're getting there. Obviously, Halloween's next Saturday. So we're getting into that time. And then not just that time. It gets cold. It gets football weather, baby. Especially up here in the Northeast, where I'm at in Philly. You really see who those teams are. And look, man, it's a pack this year. I mean, especially in the AFC. There's we'll kind of find out a little bit Sunday with Steelers and Titans, but that's just one game. It doesn't mean either of them are done because one loses to the other. Because we've seen plenty of times where a team will beat a team in a regular season, and then come playoff time, it's a whole different story. Look at Coach's perfect example, where the Patriots shellacked the Giants in the last game of the season. I shouldn't say shellacked, but beat them. And then the Super Bowl came around, and the Giants lay one on that undefeated team. So you never know. It can be. Oh, and Coach Deshaun and Lane Jackson playing tomorrow.
I saw that. We'll get into it tomorrow. We're gonna, we're gonna have a show. It's gonna be Eagles, Giants. My co-host is gonna join us for the back end of the show. We're gonna talk a little high school football, and so it'll be kind of short and sweet tomorrow night. Just keep it within that parameters. So much going on. So
right.
Devon and Nick dressing up like Ed Lover for Halloween.
That's right.
I'm sorry. Who's Ed Lover?
You don't know who Ed Lover is?
Oh,
he's a rapper.
Okay. Again, look at the beard.
He's like a rapper and an actor, I think. Right, Stiz? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think he did some acting as well.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry. No, I did know who Machine Gun Kelly was, and when somebody was talking about Machine Gun Kelly, and I knew that he was a rapper, I said, "Oh yeah, well he was a big time gangster in Chicago," and people just kind of rolled their eyes and said, "No, I really do know who he is," but they didn't know who the other Machine Gun Kelly was. And I had to show there.
Yeah, and Machine Gun Kelly too. We don't know if anybody saw the Netflix movie The Dirt. He played Tommy Lee, obviously. So yeah, that's another thing. Machine Gun Kelly. So if you saw The Dirt on Netflix, which was a great movie about Tommy Lee's band, and why am I drawing a blank on what Tommy Lee's band, Coach? Motley Crue. My God, what wow, how embarrassing. But yeah, so Motley Crue about the story of Motley Crue, and a good Netflix movie if you're looking to check something out. Really good.
All right, cool.
Yo, okay.
All right.
MTV rap. I get it now.
Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Great show.
I liked The Dirt, Angela. I thought it was good.
I appreciate it. Everyone checking us out. Make sure you go over to Facebook, like the page, YouTube, subscribe, ring the bell, and podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify. Make sure you check those out. Subscribe there as well. We really appreciate your help. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, and thanks for checking us out.